What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we are back again this month with another One Piece Treasure Cruise tier list video for Treasure Cruise Global. So yes, we're going to be talking about the updated tier list with all of the Sugo Fest exclusive characters ranked to my personal criteria, and this includes some of the new characters that came out, well actually just the new character that came out this month, which was Sanji and Judge. So those are going to be included within this tier list today. But before we get into the tier list, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video. Get real, raw, dark, epic, and awesome. Raid Shadow Legends will take you to the world of dark fantasy and realism. For those who don't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new collection RPG game that has had over 10 million players just within 3 months, and the best part, it's totally free. Raid Shadow Legends has a lot to offer for their players. You can go ahead and try and collect up to over 400 different champions. You can enjoy a fully voiced story campaign. You can also raid with friends in a clan, and just check out the detail on these champions. And personally, I'm down for combating against other live players in the PvP arena. With more than 200,000 reviews, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store. And there is a new awesome rewards program for new players. Get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days in the game. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click the special links, and you'll receive 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as a part of the new players program to start your journey. So good luck out there, and thank you very much to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Alright, so thank you once again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, but let's go ahead and start talking about the tier list. So, as you guys would know from the last tier list, I actually updated it so you guys can see my criteria. So, I have it right here: power, speed, reliability, clear rate as a captain, and what type of usable units that they have. And that is basically what I go off in terms of ranking these characters where they should be. There really aren't that many changes this time around because there only really was one additional character, and I did make one other change, which was changing a character from tier 3 moving up to tier 2. And when we get to that, I'll discuss that. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, starting off with tier 3, so Corazon is the first character here, and he actually just got his support ability on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, which is very exciting. And I was just saying this before I actually started recording this video to some of the people in my Discord server that I was very, very close to putting Corazon into the tier above, because there's 3 really good things about Corazon, right? He has a god tier special ability with really good healing and mass amount of debuff removal. Number 2, he has 2 very, very useful sailor abilities. He has the ability to remove 1 turn of paralysis and 1 turn of special bind on your entire team, just passively with his sailor abilities. And reason number 3, he now has his support ability, which allows you to go ahead and further remove bind, despair, and paralysis on your team whenever it gets inflicted to you by 2 turns when you max out his support ability. So there's lots of reasons why Corazon is as high as what he is, and it actually is pretty close in my personal opinion from him going from tier 3 to tier 2. Still not 100% confirmed on that one, but he is very, very good. A very, very good legend. And he was available in the free legend selection as well during this month's German 66 counterattack event. So if you guys did not choose Corazon and you didn't have him, then you made a very, very big mistake, because Corazon is so useful. So useful. Version 1 Law, still really good, allowing your other specials to go through barriers. Version 1 Sanji, still able to do a lot of things. That captain action is really unique, giving him lots of firepower, and being a rainbow captain is really nice to have as well. Lots of usable units for him. Version 2 Law 6+, I was actually considering dropping him from tier 3, but he's still a very good legend. There's still lots of good cerebral characters you can use nowadays, and I think that's still fair to leave him in tier 3 because he is still really good. But nowadays, you don't see too many people running V2 Law 6+ as a captain for clearing content, or even as a sub, because there isn't really like a dedicated cerebral captain aside from dual Dogstorm and Cat Viper. But like outside of that, there isn't like a real dedicated, powerful cerebral captain. Like you have another couple characters like V1 Katakuri or Legend Robin, but in terms of power, they're just not up to the echelon of some of the other legends in this game. We have version 2 Lucci 6+, still pretty good, solid shooter character. He has paralysis removal, he has defense reduction, he has color affinity booster. He's just a solid rare recruit all around for shooter teams, but I've been using shooter teams a lot. You guys know I pulled Capone, I have Zephyr, I have Dex Sabo. I've been using shooters a lot on global. Now, definitely, whenever I build a team, like, Lucci is never in the equation, unless if specifically I have to get rid of paralysis, which does come up sometimes, but then again, on the same token, you can actually go ahead and use Colosseum NL, who is a shooter-driven character, removes 5 turns of paralysis, which is better than what Lucci can do. And also, if your captain is driven, which if you run Capone as a captain, that will actually work, you get a combo boost as well. So in a lot of situations, I don't see myself ever using V2 Lucci, but he is still really good. And plus, you can use him as a captain. He does give you 1 turn of cooldown reduction as a captain, so he's still really good. And he's a very, very fast captain to use, especially with the Kizaru ship, which gives you even more cooldown reduction. So he's not useless, but in more cases, often than not, I will just prefer to use Capone. That's just myself. Remember, this is my own personal tier list. If you don't agree, it's completely fine. Moving on, we've got V2 Rayleigh. Not really much has come out over the last month. It's really made me think that he should go up in any way, shape, or form, but he definitely does not deserve to go down. He's still a very powerful character. Frankie, this was actually one I was considering bumping up, because he is still actually just a really good legend, and he shows consistently that he's able to clear content, and it is very surprising. Frankie's really good. I'm really tempted to put him up to tier 2. And then we have Gil Tesoro, pretty terrible captain effect, let's be real here. No beating around the bush. He has a pretty bad captain ability, but that special ability though, that special ability is pretty good. And that's the same reason why Garp's here as well. Captain ability, terrible. Special ability, very useful, especially with the Ambush Linlin that came out recently on Global. Legend Garp helped out a lot with that because he gave you the very sizable HP cut, which was nice, as well as removing Special Bind, as well as giving you a 3x chain lock. Was just very useful to have. Legend Brook, it's Legend Brook. It is what it is. Jack, it is what it is. And Kung Fu Luffy still is clearing content. Shout out to Godot over on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord, because every time content comes out, he always beats it with a Kung Fu Luffy team, which goes to show that Kung Fu Luffy is continuously showing why he deserves to be on this tier list. He is still a very, very valuable legend to have on your account of One Piece Treasure Cruise. But that's the full rundown of tier number 3. So let's go ahead and bump it back up now to tier number 2. So here's the rundown of tier 2. Now, the change that happened between tier 2 and tier 3 was in my last tier list. Legend Shiki was actually in tier 3. And I even said in that previous video that out of all the legends that were in tier 3, including Shiki at the time, he was definitely the one that deserved to be bumped up, and I completely agree with that. We actually had content come out recently, the Nightmare Luffy, the Neo Clash Nightmare Luffy, and I mean, like, that was a pretty challenging event, and I felt like a lot of people kind of struggled with that, but like, Shiki actually just dominated it, and he was able to clear it, which is pretty surprising. So, you know, Shiki, I think he deserves to be in tier 2. He has a lot of usable units, he's able to clear a lot of content, he is able to like dish out a lot of damage. There isn't really a reason for him to be lower than tier 2 at this current point in time. I'm still not the greatest fan of his special ability because it does lower your health considerably. It does give you a full board of matching orbs at the end of the day, but it doesn't provide any type of boost to your team, which I'm really not a big fan of, but still, he's a good character. But going through the rest of the characters, NL, you know, he didn't really change that much this month. No real characters came out that kind of influenced his usability in any way, shape, or form. So I think that NL, he's still very solid. Robin, still very solid. Doflamingo, we're just waiting. We're waiting for the Barto and Cavendish batch to make Dofi a little bit better. We are waiting for that batch. We're waiting for Limited Recruit Pudding to come out and just kind of buff up the Driven class a little bit. And once that happens, Dofi might be moving up. We'll have to wait and see. Legend Nami, still reasonable. I said this in my last tier list as well, but I'm just not a big fan of the fact that she is a mono Dex captain. If she was a mono Psi or a mono Int captain, you know, that would have been so freaking awesome. V1 Katakuri, my boy Mr. Slam Jam, still showing up why he is an absolute boss. Nightmare Luffy Neo, when that came out, V1 Katakuri was able to easily clear it. I think it cleared it with a free-to-play team. Yeah, it was a free-to-play team just with double Katakuri. So Katakuri is an absolute boss. Big Mom, no real changes, and why I think I need to make her bump up or bump down. I think that Big Mom is very, very reasonable here. Still at tier 2. Some might disagree. Some would probably say that she's at least a tier 1 legend, and I could definitely see arguments why that would be so, but in my personal opinion and through my personal usage of Big Mom, I don't think that she deserves to be higher than tier 2 at this current point in time, but she is still a very nice legend to have. That is for sure. My boy Jinbei, dude, I love V2 Jinbei. He is such an underrated legend. I really wish that there was more content that was geared towards using this character, but in a lot of circumstances, there's just better legends that can clear the content more effective, more faster, and just easier than what Jinbei can do. So that's the reason why Jinbei, I think, is in tier 2. But if you have V2 Jinbei and he's like one of your better legends, you shouldn't be disheartened by that, because Jinbei is still able to clear a lot of content. The fact that as a captain, he boosts 3 separate colors, which is quite good. It's strength, dex, and psi, I believe. And he also is his crew's own type booster, and he provides a health cut. So, you know, all in all, Jinbei's still very solid. And then we have the last character in tier 2, which is going to be Zephyr. Kind of like the same thing with Lucci. If I'm running a shooter team, I'm running Capone as the captain, unless if they specifically counter attack boosting specials. But then again, you can still kind of get around that with Capone as a captain. But in 99.9% of cases, if I'm building a shooter team, I'm using Capone as the captain. You know, not saying that Zephyr isn't a good captain, because he is still very usable as a captain. But I just would prefer to use Capone with all of his benefits compared to the benefits that what Zephyr can provide. Though Zephyr does give you damage reduction as a captain, which is nice, and he does provide you a pretty sizable attack boost. I think with a matching orb, it's a 3.9 times boost, which is good. But I just think Capone just does it better. But either way, I think Zephyr is easily deserving of the tier 2 position. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bump it up a little bit further, up to tier number 1. And surprise, surprise, there are no changes with tier 1 from last month to this month. So basically, I want to just glaze over this very quickly, because as I said, there's been no changes here. We have Lucy in here, both 6-star and 6-star plus judge. I think that the unevolved judge, the 6-star one, is probably a tier 2 legend, to be honest. Still a usable-ish captain. But mainly you'd be using the unevolved judge more as a sub-unit to help out your other teams, just because of the utility and being an orb booster. But in terms of 6-star plus judge, bro, he is like so good. Being an attack booster for 3 separate classes, he gives you damage reducing effects. He is a very usable captain, and very usable with the V2 Germa batch as well. You can use this brand new V1, or use the V1 6 plus judge with the V2 Germa batch, and you can do some pretty cool shenanigans with that. But yeah, I do think the V1 judge is still really solid. Luffy and Ace, not really much happened with Free Spirit this month, but they're still very top tier. Same with V2 Shanks, same with V2 Cruzan, same with V2 Akainu. Akainu is still a god, man. Akainu is still so close to that tier 0, man. But I just think that the other characters in tier 0 are just slightly better. But in some very specific circumstances, like Akainu is still better, right? Because Akainu can just literally tap 6 perfects and just KO everything. There are pieces of content where Akainu is legitimately the best possible option compared to some of the other better legends in the game, like Snake Man, etc. But just looking at it at a glance, looking at everything in general, I do think that Akainu is still pretty fine in the tier 1 position. V2 Sanji. I want to talk about V2 Sanji a little bit. I think V2 Sanji is getting better over time with all of the new batches that come out, specifically with this current batch with V2 Germa. So, for those who don't know, we all know that the V2 Germa, when you pull them, they come as 5-star characters, right? And then use the skulls from the event to super evolve them. So the V2 Germa, they all super evolve into 5-star plus. However, for those who don't know, the V2 Germa, when you pull them as a 5-star character in a Sugo Fest or on any banner, they are all classified as fighter and powerhouse characters, right? So you can use all of the unevolved Germa units on a V2 Sanji team. Because, and at that single point, when you have all of those characters, including V2 Sanji as your captain, all of the characters on your team are fighter and powerhouse. So you get all of the abilities active for Sanji's captain effect, and you get all the abilities active for the V2 Germa batch as your subs. And then, because we just got the brand new support character, Sora being Sanji's mom, she can attach to a Sanji character. So you can do that, you can attach it to Sanji, and on the final boss stage of a fight, Sora's ability will activate, granting Sanji a tandem orb, meaning that all of your Germa specials are able to be fully activated. Now, of course, they're not their 5-star plus version, so they're not the best type of specials you can get, but it is something to know, and I did want to point that out because some people don't know that. So if you do get another copy of the V2 Germa, I would suggest saving a copy just because of that. You can utilize V2 Sanji with them, which is really awesome. And that supportability, like just the amount of synergy you get from that is so good. Though in some circumstances you might want to use one of their specials prior to the boss stage, because remember, you only get the tandem orb on the boss stage with the Sora support ability, which is kind of annoying, but just something I want to put out there that you can actually do that, and it's really, really cool. But yeah, I still think Sanji is easily deserving of tier 1, but he does have really annoying debuffs that prevent him from going to tier 0. My boy Capone, I've already talked about him multiple times this tier list already, but Capone continuously shows why he is a goddamn boss. He is a mafia boss, and he is not going anywhere. He is not going down, and he is close to going up in my opinion. I think Capone is like hella close, but the only thing that kind of drags down Capone is his class. Shooters really aren't that good. When you really look at the shooter class at a glance, they are just not a very good class. It's mainly the heavy hitters like the rare recruits and the legends that kind of carry them. They really need some better free-to-play units in my personal opinion. Shooters are kind of terrible in terms of their free-to-play units, but they're still really good, and Capone carries them. As I said, if you have Capone, you can still clear a lot of content just with him alone, which is really, really fun. And then moving on from that, we have Carrot. Yeah, Speed Queen, like fastest character in the game for clearing high, difficult endgame content. Though there are certain pieces of content that she literally cannot beat because of her restrictions, which is fine. It doesn't mean that she's not going to be as high as what she is on the tier list, but there are some things that you do need to know about Carrot that, you know, she can't clear certain content, either because, number one, she can't clear it because of the amount of stages or preemptives, and then you just can't get her to complete the content fast enough, or number two, the pool of characters that she has available to her. Currently on Global, the amount of characters available on Carrot teams is very restrictive. Not a lot of variety for those teams, which is kind of annoying. It will get to a point sometimes where you kind of want to run a character that's not even boosted on a Carrot team just so you can get through the content, and that isn't always a good idea, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know. So it is something that you can do, but it's really not that optimal. Dex Sabo's the next one. You know, he's still very powerful. There's no real changes here. Amazing captain, amazing special. He's just a great character. He even has a really good sailor ability as well. He makes recovery and tandem beneficial for shooters. Legend Zephyr also has the exact same sailor ability as well. So you can swap and change. You know, one time you want to run on a shooter team, you want to run him on a shooter team, or you want to run Sabo on the team, and then those will obviously treat recovery and tandem as beneficial, and then Capone as a captain makes Sign Int beneficial. So with those two characters on your team, you already get 4 of the 7 natural orbs as beneficial, which is so good. But remember, that ability of recovery and tandem beneficial is not only for shooters, it's for fighters, and it might be for free spirit as well. So I think that Dex Sabo is just an all-round amazing unit to have. And then we have Neko and Inu here, and we have the Quick White Beard. I think that Neko and Inu are very solid. I really hope I can get them soon because they look like so much fun to play with Striker and Cerebral-based teams. As I mentioned before, Cerebrals don't have like a go-to powerful captain aside from this guy. This is probably the best Cerebral captain in the game right now, and even, well, it's probably the same with strikers as well to an extent. They are very good striker captains too for solo strikers, but there's going to be a character in tier 1 that obviously could be used as a striker captain technically if we want to go there, but still, Neko and Inu are very powerful, and they have one of the best specials in the game in my opinion. Attack boost and color affinity turn 1, and then orb boost on turn 2, and the orb boost is very significant, and with double of these captains, you can get just so much damage just with the captains. It's so goddamn good. And then we've got Quick Whitebeard, and he just keeps clearing content. This man can't stop. This man cannot stop. There is so much content this guy can clear, and you know, some people were hating him on his first release, but man, Whitebeard continues to show them up on why he is the Big Daddy, the actual Big Daddy. You think this is Big Father? No, this is Big Daddy. Quick Whitebeard is just a monster, absolute monster. But there we go. That's the rundown of tier 1. And now to finish off the video, let's bump it all the way up to tier 0. And it would probably come to no surprise. No changes with tier 0, but the new character that came out during the month has been added to tier 0. So we have Snake Man / Gear 4 Luffy / Tank Man / Bounce Man / Snake Man, just Gear 4 Luffy. Yeah. He's just a boss. He does everything. He can do everything. He's got cooldown reduction. He's got an orb boost for multiple turns, chain boost, beneficial orbs, just everything you could ask for as a captain, he will provide. Whitebeard and Marco, as I said before, you know, you could probably say Neko and Inu are the best striker captains, but technically you could actually use these guys as a striker captain, and that would work very well as well. Wipey DeMarco is so good. I even used them as a sub recently on a team. Didn't even use their special. The only reason why I put them on my team is because of their swap effect. That swap effect is ridiculous. Removing special bind and paralysis by 1 turn every single turn is quite crazy, and they give themselves a recovery orb as well every single turn, and they are immune to special bind. I don't know if you guys knew that. They're immune to special bind completely, so your whole team can get special binded for, like, you know, 5 turns, and then you can take your time to just use their swap effect to get rid of it, and you can use their special to heal if you need to. Just, he's a god. He never dies. And then V2 Katakuri, my boy Mr. Slam Jam coming through. Mr. Slam Jam is just a beast. He does everything pretty much. I mean, he is what he is, man. You can just go ahead, take your time, tank a lot of damage, final boss stage, special, you win. That's it. You can do so much damage with their special ability. And you can clear content just with their special ability alone, with the tap timing bonus damage, the AoE damage that they provide. And eventually when we get more GARP missions on Global, this guy is a god for GARP missions. Let me tell you that. And then Sanjin Judge, the brand new legend on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. You know, I was so blessed to be able to pull them. They're amazing. They are actually as good as what they are. Yes, they are very good. That switch ability as well, very powerful, giving themselves a tandem orb, of course, and the chain boost, man. The chain boost is so good, and their special being a 2x orb and attack boost and 5-turn paralysis reduction. Dude, what? What a special, dude. What a special. And a very usable captain ability as well for Powerhouse. 4.25, or is it 4.5? 4.25, I think, for Powerhouse when they become the dual unit, of course. But it is what it is. I mean, you can see it. Look at this tier list here at the top. You've got 1, 2, 3. 3 of the 4 units here are all Psy units, man. Psy are predominant in this game right now. They are standing out to be the best type in the game right now. Just Mono Psy is just so powerful. There's so many good legends, right? Now, as of me recording this video right now, it is the 3rd of August, 2019. Within the next couple of weeks, we should be receiving the Treasure Map Sugo Fest with Legend Cracker, and that is what will be coming likely next month with our tier list video. Legend Cracker is going to go ahead and make some crazy teams. Now, if for those of you who don't know what Cracker does, don't worry, we'll talk about him when he eventually gets revealed on Global. But let me just say, if you have this, you have this, and you have this, and you have this, and you have Cracker, like, the amount of teams that you can build with this, and actually, that's another thing I forgot to say as well. Every single character on this tier list is a powerhouse, and nearly all of them are fighters. I mean, you've got him being a striker, and I think he's a driven character. Powerhouse, man, Powerhouse are the meta right now. Powerhouse are continuously showing to be the best class right now on Global, and they are getting even more support when Legend Cracker drops. So look forward to that. But there we go. That's the full rundown of the tier list. I really hope you guys enjoyed the tier list this month. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.